Welcome to Chatting the Pictures. My name is Cara Finnegan, and I'm a writer, teacher, and historian of photography.
And I'm Michael Shaw. I'm a writer, a psychologist, and also a publisher of Reading the Pictures.
After years of despair, the thread running through the photos of people pouring into the street to celebrate Biden's victory was unbridled joy.
This photo was taken by Andrew Kelly for Reuters. It shows a cab driver in Union Square in Manhattan raising his fist in celebration after the media announced Joe Biden had won the U.S. presidential election.
Everything about this photo is so bright, isn't it? The colors, the yellow cab, the smiling faces, the blue sky in the background. It is a yellow, sunny, blue sky photo. The mood is so uplifting. Uplifting of arms and the cab driver, the clapping uplifted hands of the people standing nearby on the street. Even the logo for the cab company on the door of the cab has an uplifted arm.
I saw this photo. I saw so many other photos that Saturday morning when the results were in some way sprung on the American people. We'd been really hunkering down, trying to be patient for hours and then days on end. And what you were seeing in all of these images was just this explosion of joy. Yes, you can see that in so many images, but in this particular moment, I feel like this was the photograph.
It really is a kind of image of relief in a way. And I'm noticing especially the cab driver's, not just his joyous expression, but the closed eyes. And if you think about what your face does when you are relieved, you often heave a sigh of relief and often you close your eyes.
And then you also have the power salute, which evokes, among other things, the racial justice protests this year. This photograph is also laden with politics and in a way starts to mirror the real issues laden into the Trump legacy. You can't tell necessarily what the ethnicity of this cab driver is, but cab drivers in New York are largely Muslim immigrants. And a photo like this not only recalls all the racist dog whistling, but specifically the Muslim ban. If you remember back in February 2017, right after the administration imposed a Muslim ban, you had Muslims praying and basically taking over Terminal 4 at JFK. And on top of that, the taxi union actually went on strike in sympathy.
Yeah, there's so much recent history laid onto this photo. I think that's a really important point. You know, in thinking about that raised fist that we might call the solidarity fist, I do think it's really important, as you said, to highlight the way that the raised fist has come to us in a variety of tones and contexts, right? And to see it here in a context of joy and relief, that joy and relief, I think, also echoes with that gesture in a sense of resistance, right? So it isn't just everyone sat and did nothing and waited for this terrible moment to pass. It's that people did what they could. And so that raised fist is about maybe the literal work that voters did in addition to the kind of symbolic work that that gesture represents.
When you think about the photograph as a political mirror, you also have to be thinking about the coronavirus, people in the photograph, and the cab driver wearing a mask. And New York as the place that really suffered the most under COVID. New York City being ground zero of the outbreak after this government also failed to check the virus after it started spreading across the country.
Yeah, and I think it really is important to notice that the signs of the pandemic are all around in this photograph. And I think to some extent, we've become used to masks, to seeing images of people in masks. It's actually getting worse, much worse in many parts of the country. And so there is a kind of caution, melancholy, anxiety that's hovering over even an image like this when we look at all the folks in the masks. But for this moment, at least, to see that joy erupt through, I think was very cathartic for a lot of people.